Although his chances to Arsenal are really slimming down because he pulled out of the Swedish national team because of an injury. I'm talking about Viktor Gyökeres. Arsenal is still working on the frameworks of the transfers of Benjamin Šeško and Gyökeres. Welcome to the Rokani Media Football. Happy Eid to all the Muslims all over the world, and it's a public holiday everywhere. I don't know in your country whether it is or not, but all I know, it's really an internationally honored day everywhere. We are going to be talking about Reinders, who is obviously on the verge of joining Man City. Here we go, pronounced recently, and then a medical is yet to follow, and they want to take him to the FIFA Club World Cup. And then Palhinha, remember the time he was at Fulham playing in the midfield, was one of the best CDMs in the Premier League, going to Bayern Munich. He looks like he doesn't have where to play anymore. And is he expendable right now at the club of Bayern Munich? We're obviously going to hear from him on where his future lies. Let's see close to 300 likes much in this video. Continue to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, where should we start from? Let's start it from Arsenal, and it's a story coming in from a tier 1 journalist known as Sammy McBo. He now works for the BBC. Remember, he was working for the Daily Mail, and now he has really went to BBC. Arsenal are working towards confirming the frameworks of both Viktor Gyökeres and Benjamin Šeško before deciding which to proceed with. Price is key, and while Šeško has near universal backing at the club, Gyökeres is more economical. Now, have you heard that? Arsenal are working towards confirming the framework of both deals, and when you talk about the frameworks, it involves the following. One, the transfer fee. They want to weigh in on who is really going to be having a realistic asking price from his ideal club where he's playing right now. Secondly, the agent fees that he's involved. Which of the agents of these two players is really ready to see to it that he doesn't take in a lot of money? Thirdly, the weekly wages for each player, for Benjamin Šeško and for Viktor Gyökeres. And that's what Arsenal is really working at hugely onto this deal. And that's why they're looking to work on the frameworks of both. And then the payment terms is the last one that you have to obviously hint on, the payment terms from these particular clubs. Because for Sporting Lisbon, the release clause is there, but they're not going to buy it where they eat. And for Benjamin Šeško, for Viktor Gyökeres, the release clause was 100 million euros, and now they cut it to 70 million euros, meaning that you can negotiate onto the way to pay. But for Benjamin Šeško, the release clause was 75 million euros, though now they want to call in for 100 million euros. So I think those are the factors that Arsenal is going to be looking at on the deal of Benjamin Šeško and Gyökeres, because they're like, we need to see to it that we don't really get ransomed. They're really working hard to find a perfect solution on who is obviously going to be doing the best role at the club. But they're interested in both. They're really trying to negotiate on both ends. And I told you that is really great tactic by Arsenal, because they want to frustrate. I tell you, they are frustrating. They are trying to frustrate the people around them. And how are they frustrating them? Telling them that they need to see that they really dance to their tunes. If RB Leipzig is making it hard for Arsenal, they're like, let's get to Viktor Gyökeres. And if Sporting Lisbon is making it hard for Arsenal, they're like, let's get back to Benjamin Šeško. So I think that's a big way, that's the best way to do the deal, provided you don't have teams that are really pushing hard to really see to it that you lose on one. Because if you lose out on one and you're left with only one target, then the other team will say, all right, now the option has been taken. What is your solution right about now? You understand? And your solution will be put out there. So that is it for the side of Benjamin Šeško and Gyökeres. Arsenal is working onto those two deals. But they further continue to say, further from the frameworks, that Šeško has a near universal backing at the club, meaning that almost everyone at the club of Arsenal is really going in for Benjamin Šeško, if you understand, because of his being young and everyone looking at him as an Erling Haaland or the next Erling Haaland into this game. And the other one is being seen as economical, that is Viktor Gyökeres. And when you Google about economical, they say giving good value or return in relation to money. So they see a lot of huge return from Viktor Gyökeres, and is an economical forward, and they believe he has it all to obviously lead the line for the club of Arsenal. So we are here to wait and see how that pans out on who Arsenal is obviously going to be bringing in at their club. But I've always told you that whoever comes in through, he will bang in those goals. And I've always told you that the problem of Arsenal has not always gone ahead to be the centre forward, though most people really front it. It's all about seeing Bukayo Saka getting you 20 goals. It's all about seeing Martinelli or Trossard getting you 20 goals, and it's all about seeing Odegaard coming in to get you 15 goals, and then the striker, if his score has like 15, 20, all would have gone ahead to be well. But the problem is Saka and Kai Havertz, who were the people in best shape to obviously take this team where they deserve to be, found themselves injured this season. And when you look at Kai Havertz, I think he really had a very big chance to hit 20 goals this season because he played 23 games and scored 9, and 3 assists, meaning that he missed out on 15 games. And we all know to it that in the second part of the season, that's when very many goals will go ahead to be scored. And I think would have gone ahead to score those 11 to make it, to take that tally to where you want to be in 20s. But getting in a backup striker or another striker will be very important. And for Bukayo Saka, in the Premier League, 6 goals and 10 assists, you understand? So if he was not injured and he played the 13 games, maybe would have gone ahead to go to double figures of 13, 14, 15. And if at all, those 20 goals would have gone ahead to be added from Saka and Kai Havertz, they would have gone ahead to really see themselves win the trophy. But I tell you, Gyökeres or Šeško, they will obviously add a very huge impact to that side of Arsenal. So we can see how that pans out. But they're working with the framework of both deals. So we'll be waiting to see what the side of Arsenal is really looking at and what their plan is like in the near future. Let's go to Palhinha, signed from Fulham to Bayern Munich, and looks like his future is in sheer doubt. Now, on his future, I said, we will see. I've said it a few times already. I still have 3 years left on my contract here. I want to play for this club, but I have to discuss with the coach and the sporting directors personally because whether I'll get my chance here, because he hasn't gone ahead to prove to company that he's the right guy to play there. And the likes of Pavlovic, Konrad Lema are really looking like they are the ideal midfielders that this manager really wants to have in his midfield. I didn't say I really hope I will, but if not, we'll have to wait and see and find the best solution. Football is the present, and in this present, I'm ready to give my life to achieve my goals. My dream is to be successful here because it was incredibly hard to get here to this club. That is a man known as Palhinha. Then he said, everyone knows the story. Nothing in my life has been easy, and that was one thing that made me proud. Let's see. There is no reason to be upset. I won a title with Bayern Munich, and I hope it was the first of many. We will see about the rest. We'll discuss it and decide what's the best for me. So when he talks about it was hard for him to get to this team, you know what he means. In the summer transfer window of 2023, he even went to Bayern Munich, did the medical, but Fulham delayed to put in the papers and the transfer window was closed, and then he came back. So that was what he meant when he said that it was really hard for him to obviously get here, and we know it. Obviously, he's right about it, and you're waiting to see how things will pan out into the mix for that. So that is Palhinha, but very many clubs will be interested in his services, though this time round he hasn't gone ahead to feature predominantly into that Vincent Kompany team that went ahead to win the Bundesliga again after Bayern Leverkusen came in through and stopped them in the season of 2023-2024. So that's exactly how things are really happening. And let's go to Tijani Regendes. And Regendes has come up and obviously they said the following: I'm a modern midfielder, a box-to-box player, and that's what you need in modern football. And I'm always fit, which is also an advantage. Fortunately, I've always remained that way, and I hope to keep that for as long as possible. So these are all words to the people at City, and I think they'll mean a lot to the people at City there. For example, one of the reasons as to why Man City went ahead not to be very predominant into the league and the Champions League this season, it has been injuries of the three most important players that make others look better. Ruben Diaz, who was really on and off. Rodri, I think he returned on the last game of the season. Then the other one was Kevin De Bruyne, who has been on and off. Even Erling Haaland, the number 9, before they brought in Mamosh, who has been on and off. What does that mean? It means that you need to put in a very huge effort to see to it that all goes on well as planned, to see to it that you don't lose out onto the title chase. If a player says he's always fit and he has an advantage and he's a modern midfielder, it really gives you hope that he's obviously going to come in through and really put in the shift that you really deserve. That is a player known as Regendes. He is awaiting for his medical with Man City, and I think that will happen very, very soon after the international break, and City will register him, I think, before the 10th, because before the 10th, you won't be able to sign any player until the 14th, I think, when the transfer window reopens again. As I told you, this summer transfer window, we are having 2 sets of transfer windows from the 1st of June to the 10th for every team, but that was really put out as a window for those teams to go in the FIFA Club World Cup to obviously get in players that they want to have into their squad when that tournament kickstarts off on the 15th of June. That is mid-June. Then from 14th to either August, we will obviously get to know what the world will be all about into this transfer. So guys, I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below about Šeško Gyökeres deal frameworks, transfer frameworks being worked on by the club of Arsenal, and who do you think is a perfect fit for this side? And lastly, Palhinha, what do you make about him? Do you think he should return to the Premier League, or he should really stay at Bayern Munich and really fight for his position under the manager known as Vincent Kompany? And Reinders, is he the perfect replacement for Kevin De Bruyne? And will he obviously fit the boots of Kevin De Bruyne? Will he even less the boots of Kevin De Bruyne in his first season? All that and more into the comment section below. Good morning, my mates. I love you, die, and Eid Mubarak or Eid al-Fitr to all the Muslims all over the world and those watching in this channel. Bye bye for now.